Arts in Depth is brought to you in part by Riverside Theater, Vero's professional theater at Riverside Park. Call the box office at 772-231-6990 or visit riversidetheater.com.
Arts in Depth, a 1/2-hour televised program presented to you by the Cultural Council of Indian River County. I'm Barbara Hoffman, the Executive Director of the Cultural Council and your host for Arts in Depth. Thank you for watching. Save the Chimps is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing a permanent sanctuary for the lifelong care of chimpanzees rescued from research laboratories, the entertainment industry, and the pet trade. Established in 1997, the history of this amazing organization has recently been published in Opening Doors, Carol Noon and Her Dream to Save the Chimps. Every day, the staff and volunteers of Save the Chimps provide care to more than 250 chimpanzees. My guest today is Triana Romero, Director of Communications for Save the Chimps, and I want to welcome you, Triana.
Thank you, Barbara.
Please share with us the history of the Chimps Sanctuary.
Well, Save the Chimps is truly a remarkable place. It's currently home to 254 rescued chimpanzees, and it was founded in 1997 by our beloved founder, Dr. Carol Noon. Dr. Noon basically sued the Air Force to gain custody of 21 of the chimpanzees that had been used in the space program. When the Air Force was done using the chimpanzees for space testing, they basically dumped them in a biomedical research laboratory in Alamogordo, New Mexico, formerly known as the Colston Foundation. The conditions there were really horrific, and Dr. Noon was able to sue the Air Force for violations of care for those individuals. And thanks to the generosity and help of our co-founder, John Stryker of the Arcus Foundation, Save the Chimps was able to gain custody of 21 of the former Air Force chimpanzees. We purchased the land in Fort Pierce, Florida, West Fort Pierce, 150 acres, and that's where it all began. An island was built to provide sanctuary for these 21 chimpanzees so that they could live out their lives in peace. 3 chimps after that were then rescued from the pet trade. April, September, and Pepsi. And Dr. Noon expected to grow and acquire and rescue more chimps over time, but an unprecedented event took place where Fred Colston, the founder of the Colston Foundation, this laboratory in Alamogordo, New Mexico, contacted Dr. Noon and offered to sell his land and property and donate the 266 chimpanzees in his care for $3.7 million. John Stryker and the Arcus Foundation helped Save the Chimps acquire this, and overnight Save the Chimps basically became the world's largest sanctuary for rescued chimpanzees.
What an interesting story. Can you take a moment and just describe the sanctuary?
It's a magical place. It's truly, truly beautiful. It's basically designed to be a chimpanzee city. It's composed of 12 individual man-made islands. It was an abandoned orange grove, so everything that you see at that sanctuary was designed specifically to enrich the lives of the chimpanzees. So 12 individual 3-acre islands where chimpanzees live in large family groups, and each island has a building which is where they come in for feeding and shelter 3 times a day, or shelter as they wish.
Oh, how fascinating! Wonderful to go down and see that. We are going to be back talking with Triana Romero, who is the Director of Communications for Save the Chimps, after a short break.
We have important health news that may be of dire importance to you, your family, or someone you know. If you or your loved ones need health insurance immediately, call Quote Rhino Health now. Let us help you find the health insurance program that provides you access to doctors, hospitals, and emergency services. As an added bonus for calling now, Our providers can send you a no-obligation, no-cost prescription card, which can save you up to 50% off your prescriptions. Call the number on your screen now.
Arts in Depth is brought to you in part by Riverside Theater, Vero's professional theater at Riverside Park. Call the box office at 772-231-6990 or visit riversidetheater.com.
I'm back with Triana Romero, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Save the Chimps. I would like to meet Rufus. Please tell us about him.
Rufus is an amazing, dear old man. He was an African caught chimpanzee, so his exact date of birth we're unsure of, but he's estimated to be in his late 40s. He was used in biomedical research, and we rescued him from the Colston Foundation. So sadly, Rufus was a biomedical research subject for probably 30 years. Rufus lived alone in one of the buildings at the former Colston Foundation that we dubbed as the dungeon, which was just a series of concrete rooms lined up, and these individuals lived basically in isolation for years, never even being able to touch or see their neighbors on either side. Rufus lived alone, and chimpanzees are very social, intelligent, emotional creatures, just like we are. And so for a chimpanzee to live alone for its lifetime is as devastating to a chimp as it would be to a human. He lived alone, but he was a breeder, so he fathered, I believe it was 37 children, and was basically taken out of his room to meet a female, to breed, and then put back in isolation. That was his life, until he was rescued by us, Save the Chimps, in 2002. Now Rufus roams his island daily. He is just a beautiful old man who likes to cause some drama in the family, and that's part of his charm. He also is very special because a few years ago he sadly endured an injury that he started to develop a bone infection, and it was causing him a tremendous amount of pain, and we were very concerned for his well-being. So our wonderful veterinarian, Dr. Jocelyn Besner, consulted with human orthopedic, and they decided that Rufus needed to have his arm amputated, which of course is a very scary thing, because he would have needed to be anesthetized, and he was going to wake up with one less arm. And how would he recover physically? How would he recover mentally? Well, thankfully, he recovered beautifully in all areas, and he made it really clear that he wanted the bandage off. He made it really clear he wanted to be with his family. He wanted to be out on his island, and that one arm wasn't going to stop him a bit. So every day, Mr. Rufus is out on his island, just feeling confident. We refer to him as one of those people who's a legend in his own mind. And he likes to stir the pot up and get the family members a little riled up and just kind of sit back and watch, and maybe is humored by it. But he makes us all smile, and he's one of our many heroes.
What a wonderful, wonderful story. You know, you mentioned that some chimpanzees endured extreme shock, G-forces, and challenging physical conditions, and that 75% of the chimps in captivity in the U.S. have lived or are still living in these biomedical research laboratories. That's really sad.
Yeah, but we are really very excited because in late 2015, so just a few months ago, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife has designated all chimpanzees, both wild and captive chimpanzees, as endangered. So the days of chimpanzees being tested on in the United States are coming to an end. So we're really, really thrilled about that.
But good news, and we'll be back after a short break.
Join Marsha Littlejohn nightly at 5 and 9 on VeroBuzzTV.com.
Hi, I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Jim. Together we are the Live Now real estate team at RE/MAX Associated Realty.
We know the Sebastian area real estate market very well, and we also know that buying or selling a home can be very serious business.
But together we can reduce the stress and even have fun in the process. Along with our hundreds of satisfied clients, we really want you to live now and be happy too.
Contact us at thelivenowteam.com.
See you soon.
Just like humans, chimpanzees sometimes have special needs. Triana, what are some of the special needs that the sanctuary can provide for them?
Well, chimpanzees share 98.6% the same DNA as humans, so you're exactly right. They do have special needs. Some are physical, due to physical conditions, others are due to mental conditions. 40% of male captive chimps, actually male captive apes, suffer from heart disease. So we have several residents who do suffer from heart disease. And we have to be very careful to not have them in a large family group because their state is just more fragile and we can't get them overly excited. Other conditions that we have are, in terms of special needs, are, like I said, due to psychological trauma. So we have some chimps who self-mutilate or who will pluck their hair and things like that, or who just don't, because of their years of isolation, just do not know how to fit into a family group. So they just don't understand the rules within their family group, so they could either become very aggressive or become extremely submissive and just don't seem to blend in the way they need to. So we accommodate, we have a special needs facility on property that we're very fortunate we completed the funding for last year. And now we have this building with outdoor play yards that is devoted to our special needs chimps. And we're able to give them all the different things that they would be able to experience out on the island, but in an environment that's more protective of them. So they can feel the grass, they can feel the sun and the breeze and climb, but instead of being on 3 acres, they're in a play yard and they can see their neighbors right next door to them. And one of the best things about the special needs facility is it does offer us the flexibility to move the chimps around as needed and give them, stimulate them by putting them in a different play yard from day to day, or introduce them to other individuals, because just like us, they get bored, they need stimulation, like I said earlier, they need touch. So we're there to serve them and have them live out their lives as peacefully as they can.
Fascinating, fascinating. You say that chimps love to eat.
They do.
What do they eat?
The diet at Save the Chimps is primarily fresh fruits and vegetables. We have about a $350,000 annual food bill because we have over 250 mouths to feed 3 times a day. So diet is very important for their overall well-being. So we feed them 3 times a day, a combination of fresh fruits and vegetables. We go through probably about 1,300 bananas a day. So it's not an exaggeration that chimps love their bananas. But we also give them something that's called monkey chow, which is a dry biscuit that gives them their protein. And then we try to mix up their diet because just like us, they can get bored with certain things. So we do give them oatmeal and pasta with fresh made sauce, and an occasional peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Just, again, all things to keep them happy.
It sounds just like a child.
Yep.
Well, that's very interesting. And talk about the amount of food that they eat. And that oh my goodness. Well, we are going to be back to learn more about the chimps with Triana, Romero, in just after a short break.
Arts in Depth is brought to you in part by Riverside Theater, Vero's professional theater at Riverside Park. Call the box office at 772-231-6990 or visit riversidetheater.com.
The fun is happening at Vero Social Club on North US 1, where friends meet for bingo every Tuesday and Thursday. Doors open at 10, with luncheon served, and the games begin at noon. Then Vero Social Club opens up the dance floor Thursday nights for social dancing. And weekends, Vero Social Club heats up. Check the website for Latin Night special events. And each Sunday, dance to hip-hop all night long. Go to VeroSocialClub.com. Vero's #1 party destination. Vero Social Club, 7500 North US 1.
During the course of the past 100 years, advancements in technology have dramatically changed forever the manner in which people worldwide interact and now connect and communicate with one another. Welcome Buzz TV.
I'm here with Triana Romero, and we're going to talk more about the chimps, but that's an expensive sanctuary and city for the chimps, and let's talk about how this happens. Supporters can make a very, very personal connection with individual chimps through the Adopt a Chimp program. Will you tell us about the program, please?
Sure. The Adopt a Chimp program is just one of the many ways that people can help support the sanctuary, and we have 12 of our beloved residents available for a symbolic adoption, and it's $300 to symbolically adopt one of the chimps, and that is equivalent to 1 week of complete care is funded by that contribution. Everything it needs for that chimp to thrive in the environment that I just described would be covered with that $300. So there's 12 individuals that can be found on our website, and in exchange for the contribution, the recipient would receive a beautiful portrait, biography, an update, and a certificate bearing their name. It's a great idea for giving gifts. We find that a lot of grandparents do that during the holidays as a way of trying to introduce children to the work that we do, and really, again, give them that personal connection with an individual. So each chimpanzee has their own personality, and it's really fun to get to know them, and their faces are just incredible. They'll melt your heart. So it's a really, it's a great program to be a part of.
If one adopts a chimp, do they have a chance to come out and see the chimp?
No, Save the Chimps, being a true sanctuary, is in fact closed to the public. We do, however, open our doors twice a year through our membership program, our membership campaign. And we have an upcoming Member Day event on February 17th, and then another one on September 20th, I believe, of this year. And membership, becoming a member at the $50 level or above, entitles an individual to register for one of 9 scheduled tours so that they can come out and see the facility and meet some of our residents and just get a better understanding of the work we do and why their support is so critical and important to provide the life we do for the chimps.
Okay, so it costs a $50 membership.
$50 is the minimum dollar amount for becoming a member and being able to register for one of the 9 tours. So we have that on our website, which is savethechimps.org, and membership is, we do a lot of promotion because we do have a fixed number of people we can have out. We have to, of course, always be very sensitive to the chimps' well-being and not to stress them out. So we do have a fixed number, and we've been very fortunate. This will be our 5th year of Member Day, and every year we sell out about 3 weeks in advance. So.
Well, that's really good news, and hopefully people renew the membership so they can come back and check how things are going the next year.
It's always fun to see our return members. It's always great to see those familiar faces.
Well, this is just such an exciting program. When we return, we're going to talk more about the need for donations and how much they are appreciated in order to carry on what goes on at Save the Chimps Sanctuary.
Join us for an adventure weekdays at 4:30 and 8:30 on Buzz TV Network.
If you or someone you love is suffering from addiction to drugs or alcohol, National Rehab Recovery has an important message for you. Each year, we lose hundreds of thousands of our family members and loved ones to drug and alcohol-induced causes. If you have insurance or the ability to pay for 30 days of treatment, National Rehab Recovery can change your life. Medicare and Medicaid are not accepted at this time. The call and confidential consultation is free.
1-800-577-5446.
Plant your business in the Buzz TV ID Garden and watch your buzziness grow. Make a 15-second business video ID. Plant your video ID in Buzz TV programs. Then spread your video ID on social media and watch your buzziness grow on Buzz TV. Arts in Depth is brought to you in part by Riverside Theater, Vero's professional theater at Riverside Park. Call the box office at 772-231-6990 or visit riversidetheater.com.
Again, I'm here with Triana, and we are talking about Save the Chimps. We mentioned a few ways that we can participate, that you and I, you as viewers, can participate in Save the Chimps, and one of them is to adopt a chimp, and the other one was to become a member. But there are other ways also to include donations, such as plant giving and the Caregiver Society. Will you tell us a bit about those two programs?
Sure. The Plant Giving is our sanctuary society, and that's remembering Save the Chimps in your estate planning to help ensure the financial health of the organization. We currently care for 254 chimpanzees, and the life expectancy, a lot of people don't realize this, but the life expectancy for a chimp is anywhere from 40 to 60 years. The annual cost to care for a chimpanzee and to provide them the life that we do at the sanctuary is $16,000 per year. So, as a nonprofit that relies solely on the generosity of private supporters, remembering Save the Chimps in individuals' estate planning is critical for our sustainability and future well-being. The Caregiver Society is one of our membership levels, which is at the $1,600 level and above. 16 is symbolic to us because of the 16,000 cost to care for a chimpanzee. And we even have within the Caregiver Society the alpha donor, because there are alphas in every family group of chimpanzees, and there are alpha donors. So for 16,000, someone would actually sponsor an individual for a year. So throughout our different fundraising, we have many levels with different benefits. Within the Caregiver Society, we do hold a invitation-only private event for our Caregiver Society members, which is a beautiful event in the spring, which includes a VIP tour, a Q&A with our veterinarian, followed by a catered lunch overlooking Air Force Island and a presentation. So it really is a very special day that we dedicate to thanking our Caregiver Society members for helping us do the work that we do.
That's great. What is it like to be a volunteer at the sanctuary?
Well, I would say it's wonderful, because our volunteers are just always with a smile, always so enthusiastic, so incredibly generous and dedicated. It blows my mind to just see these familiar faces on a daily or seasonal basis come back and spend hours sorting bananas or making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or shredding paper or putting together materials. We utilize our volunteers mainly in our kitchen for food prep, and then as well in our development office for, like I said, preparing materials or tabling events for us and speaking out on our behalf. But our volunteers, like I said, are really incredible and help us and have helped us accomplish so much, especially, for instance, our Member Day event. If it wasn't for the dedication and assistance of our volunteers, we just wouldn't have the staff to really put on an event like that. So we're very fortunate to have them.
How does one become a member? I mean a volunteer.
Both membership and volunteer. SaveTheChimps.org is our website, and there's options for both there. Volunteering, it's just under the donate. There's a volunteer section. There's an application. You could also just email us or give us a call, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. But it just takes the will and a certain level of commitment to want to be there and help out.
That must be exciting to follow what some of these chimps are doing and how they're getting along. And we will be back for our final segment with Triana after a short break.
Buzz TV Network is now the fastest growing new media outlet in Florida. Watch BuzzTVNetwork.com. Stop by Patty's Printing and Graphics in downtown Vero Beach. Owner Patty Callahan prints it all, from color and black and white copies to blueprints, banners, signs, prints of paintings, and fine art. Patty makes restorations and creates outstanding graphic designs. Call Patty at 770-1521 or stop by Patty's Printing and Graphics at 2345 14th Avenue. Stop by for all of your printing needs at Patty's Printing and Graphics across from the old railroad station in downtown Vero Beach.
Triana, what is planned for the future of the sanctuary and its work?
Our mission is to continue rescuing chimpanzees and providing them with a dignified and peaceful retirement. There are, like as we spoke earlier, still several hundred chimpanzees who are going to be in need of sanctuary who are former research subjects. There's also former pets and entertainers in this country who are going to be in need of sanctuary. So our goal is to be able to provide them, be able to retire chimpanzees to our sanctuary, help them live out their lives, and then one day hopefully go out of business because it will no longer be a problem. Chimpanzees will be left where they belong, which is in the wild.
Wow, that's quite a statement. That is quite a statement. What do you find as some of the challenges?
Funding. Funding is always a challenge. We have about a $6 million annual budget, and there's so many worthy causes out there, and so funding is always a challenge. And then actually being able to rescue the chimps and accommodate those rescues and integrate those individuals into a family group where they will thrive. We've never turned down a chimpanzee. Save the Chimps has actually rescued 300 chimpanzees since its inception, which is remarkable, and I don't believe we ever will turn down one. But there's just all the logistics involved in that will always be challenging, but we're up for it.
And there is space?
There is.
In the
we
sanctuary
actually
to cover?
Currently have 254 chimpanzees at the sanctuary. We definitely can, with our current accommodations, can house up to 300. So that's a good boost.
And how did you develop your love for chimpanzees to come into this job?
I've always had a love for chimpanzees ever since I was a child, but I did not come with any animal welfare background or even nonprofit background. My answer to this question is always the same. I feel it was fate. I discovered Save the Chimps and met our beloved founder, Dr. Carol Noon, and it was literally love at first sight. I stumbled upon it, and from the moment I met the chimps and I met Dr. Noon and I heard the mission and I felt and saw the property, I knew it's where I wanted to be, and 9 years later, I'm still there.
Well, you mentioned that you know probably pretty well 50 to 60 of those chimps.
Yeah, I do. I work in development, so I'm normally indoors, but I've got the most beautiful view of a chimpanzee island, and I get to hear them pant hooting in the background. But we have 254, and as far as our amazing care staff who work with the chimps on a daily basis, our veterinarian, our kitchen staff, they know almost all of them, and they can, or close to that, and they can spot them just from their posture or their movement out on their island, which is pretty remarkable. But I think it's safe to say that everyone that works there loves every one of those chimps. They're our family.
Well, you certainly have a very big heart. I want to thank you.
Oh, thank you,
Triana Romero, the Director of Communications for Save the Chimps, for talking with us today.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you, viewers, for watching Arts in Depth, presented to you by the Cultural Council of Indian River County.
Arts in Depth is brought to you in part by Riverside Theater, Vero's professional theater at Riverside Park. Call the box office at 772-231-6990 or visit riversidetheater.com. Stop dirty, unread newsprint clogging our landfills with waste. Go green. Save a tree. Watch Buzz TV.